Yeah, well, BCS is a materials handling plant automation company. We've been around since 1993. We particularly play in the baggage handling market for airports as well as in the logistics markets for parcel handling systems. Very dominant within the Australian market and expanding now into other regions such as Southeast Asia, Latin America, North America. We're very pleased and proud to win the Deal of the Year award, and that was on the back of a large contract we've recently won in Malaysia for a new airport being developed in Kuala Lumpur.
I think to answer that, Catherine, the X factor we brought to the table, particularly for the KLI deal, was innovation and truly understanding our customers' business and probably understanding better than they did what they actually needed for a solution. And so bringing that combination of understanding and innovation provided a unique solution. And when you look at the companies we were competing with, the shortlist was Siemens and BCS. So a significant win against a global company for us. And it just goes to show that the power of that sort of approach. I think, as Steve commented earlier, time in market is just crucial. And as Steve said, we're spending a very large percentage of our time on the ground in these markets and getting to know our customers. Internet's great, email's fantastic, Skype is good, but ultimately building relationships, you need to be sitting face to face at the table, and you need to understand what makes these people and their businesses tick. And you need to have had breakfast with these people, had dinner with them, had drinks with them. It's all part of gaining that understanding and that trust, because significantly people do business with people that they like. So being liked by your customers is actually quite important from our perspective.
Well, for us, I guess being an international business is not just about making stuff and sticking it on a remote and exporting it. It's about becoming established in market and becoming and playing in each of those markets, actually establishing a market, employing local people, and learning how those markets operate. And for us, certainly that's been one of our very big keys to success. And we continue to see that occurring as we continue to globalise. Well, the reality is you have to be competitive in these markets to win. So, and certainly in making some of the products, you have to make it in some of these lower cost regions, and same for the cost of labour. However, from an innovation point of view, and certainly this is where BCS stands, the hub of innovation is in Auckland, New Zealand, and we see that continuing. We see that we continue to invest in innovation back home whilst we regionalise in the markets that we are seeking to operate and win in.
I think in terms of tips for success for fledgling New Zealand exporters, I would say think big. Incremental thinking doesn't cut it. If you're going to think incrementally, then you're not going to stand out from the mass of other companies that think incrementally. So really it's about, don't be scared to take a big idea, get help. I think a lot of exporters think they have to do everything themselves, and I see a lot of that actually in New Zealand, and that's why I think New Zealand leads the world. Certainly I think there's more innovation in New Zealand per square kilometre than anywhere else in the world. But where it tends to fall down is in that ability to commercialise and take it to market. But quite often I find in New Zealand it's because the innovators and the people that have come up with the original concept then try and do all the rest of it themselves, and quite often they just don't have the skills to do that.
Yeah, Marc, I think another aspect of being successful is actually choosing partners. And we spend a lot of time developing partners both locally here in New Zealand as well as in each of the markets that we're playing. So examples of partners locally would be, well, MSI has partnered with us in terms of helping fund some of the innovation, and that's been a big help. I think of ANZ who've helped us who've got a Southeast Asian strategy, and working very, very closely with them both here, Australia, and in Southeast Asia. And we're very supportive, particularly with the project in Malaysia that we just secured. And then we've got partners in market who are critical. So developing those partnerships and choosing them carefully and then fostering them is I think, a very, very important part of succeeding.
Yeah, absolutely right. The power of partnering is the power to accelerate market entry and speed to market. And speed to market is critical in the 21st century. And for example, we have developed a new product here, which is an automated check-in known as Baggate. And we've partnered globally with CETA, which is the world's largest IT company for airlines and airports. And consequently, we now have that product as part of the CETA portfolio. And we have 460 CETA salespeople around the world working for us indirectly, selling that solution 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. And that's an example of how speed to market and leveraging works. I think exporting is hard work, there's no doubt about it. I mean, if it was easy, everyone would do it. And that's part of the problem, that not enough New Zealanders export as such. But I think whilst it's hard work, it can also be a lot of fun. And you know, if you have fun on the way through, then you know, it certainly helps achieve better outcomes.